Yeah, I want to give a quick update on this stuff with the Earth changes. I know there's been a lot of doom and gloom videos out there about the Earth going through the galactic plane, and we already did that. Actually, there is some stuff coming up, but it's not going to be one specific year or one pinpoint in time exactly. Um, Now, I talked about this before because as the solar activity decreases and there's less sunspots, yeah, it does diminish. It means that the power of the sun is diminished, but it also coincides with more volcanic activity. But there's a lot of different things going on at once, and it's not going to be something where it's a catastrophic thing that's going to happen, in one day. Now, I think there's going to be separate events that are going to happen that are going to be catastrophic, like Mount St. Helens. When that happened, a lot of people didn't even realize how much it was going to be, exploding, and a lot of people got killed. Actually, I mean, if there was people who warned to get away from the bottom of the mountain, they knew about that. But there was people that got whacked 10 miles away. We also know about Yellowstone. I also put out about on the border of North Korea and South Korea. I mean, North Korea and China. It's actually located in North Korea, Mount Paktu. I think it was the Lake of the Heavens or something. The crater's so big there. There's a huge lake, large caldera from before. When it exploded, that's actually considered a super volcano. But what could happen is one can go off, and they all go off. But then it's not like they all go off, within days. It could be several years later. It's been actually recent articles have come out about if the big one happens in California, it's going to signal the beginning of major volcanic activity throughout the Earth. But all this is related to the ebb and the flow and the power of the suns, the sunspots, the normal cycles we actually have over this Earth. Actually, we're over 500 million years late on having a magnetic reversal. It's the last one, I think, was 780,000 years ago. Before that, it was about 200,000 years. Before that, it was 200,000 years. So they say, yeah, we're late about 580,000 years or 560,000 years for the magnetic reversal. You're thinking, well, that could be five centuries from now, right? But actually, the Earth's magnetosphere has been greatly diminished over the last 200 years. In the last 300 years, it's been like really freaking falling off a cliff. And you see there's also a lot of changes in the magnetic declination on the compasses because of how quickly even the North Pole is moving, right? So they figure sometimes some people figure when it gets to true north, if the poles are going to flip. But what does that mean? A change of compass? Yeah, fine, right? Is that all it's going to do? Maybe not, because there's one thing they say that the Earth's not going to end. That's one thing. All right. I mean, I know like there's a lot of scientists out there talked about, um, the magnetosphere protects and holds the atmosphere in place. Without the magnetosphere, our atmosphere would be whittled away by the cosmic rays because the magnetosphere protects us from cosmic rays, solar bursts, and all this type of stuff. It's not. You see, it's getting lower because it's going to flip. It's not going away. It's like the Earth's magnetosphere is going to be around probably for billions of years. I mean, even such, when this magnetic flip happens, I don't know if it's going to happen 10 years from now. It looks like it's on the way, though. And we're getting into an area where it's actually going to affect the survival of humanity. And all this stuff, like with the elite talking about, with, global warming, which is hogwash, and man made emissions destroying the earth and the environment, some of that's true, but the way they're pushing it is ridiculous. Um, it's like, in other words, one super volcano could put out more freaking pollution than mankind did in the last 100 years. That's actually going to cause a lot of problems. But the thing is, where it's going to affect our survival is like too many people are dependent upon electronic things. I mean, they're great, but I think they're conveniences. But especially like for transportation is one of the stupid things too. Like you don't really need to have electronic this and that for transportation or electronic everything there is out there because solar activity or the lack of sunspots or a solar flare can actually put us, knock out all the freaking electronics in the world pretty damn quickly. And it's not outside the realm of reality because it did happen in 1859 in the Carrington event of 1559. But what I'm pointing out is, though, this stuff is real, but it's like don't hold your breath and worry about it, but stay simple. Stay prepared, stay simple. This is actually a map of, well, this was a map during not the last mini ice age, but the one before it, which is more severe. And it looks like this is a repeat of what's going on. And when I'm talking about mini ice ages in the magnetosphere and solar spots and volcanic activity, actually they're all related. It's like during the time of severe mini ice ages, we have less solar sunspots. We have more susceptibility to cosmic rays because the magnetosphere is weaker, and it all correlates together. And we also have more volcanic activity. I mean, I don't know exactly why this is, but it's like a fact. Now, the last time, not the last time, but the time before they had the mini ice age, which was a more severe ice age, one in the 1600s. The pattern was like this. If you look at the USA, the dark blue represents where it was really super cold. Exactly what's going on this time. It looks like we're going into a mini ice age that's going to be not like the one in the 1800s when we had the Carrington event with the EMP. And nobody knows if we had an EMP Carrington event in the 1600s because nobody was using electronic well, not electronic, but they weren't using electricity and telegraphs. See, back in 1859, we knew we had a solar flare because it fried all the telegraphs. What we're going in today looks like it's more severe. So I don't know, everybody buying all these gee-whiz. I got some gee-whiz electronic gadgets that I think are extremely useful, but I don't buy them just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? Even like some of my, I guess the one that would probably have the best survivability would be, the ones that are little portable power zappers or something like that. You could stick them in a Faraday cage made out of an ammo can, and the thing would be fine. But a lot of other stuff I got would probably be fried. But like the people that are saying that we're going into global warming, they're pointing out what happened, they're pointing out how warm Alaska is, and the glaciers melting in Alaska and stuff. Well, that's exactly what happened during the mini ice age in the 1600s, which correlated exactly with the real major ice age they had 11,000 years ago. Actually, that's another issue. They say we're 500 years late on a major ice age. I mean, don't hold your breath. Don't freaking get scared about it. Don't I'm not putting out drama here, but I'm putting out some reality. But actually, I'm going to tell you something else about this deal with Alaska. All the glaciers and stuff in Alaska, they were formed after the end of the last ice age 11,000 years ago. They started getting formed 6,000 years ago. They got formed during a warming period because overall the Earth gets colder, say during a severe mini ice age or a major ice age, but certain parts of the Earth get warmer. So during the warming period, most of the Earth was getting warmer, but a few spots were getting colder. It's like exact opposite of what it is today. Alaska got warmer during the 1600s severe mini ice age and the major ice age 11,000 years ago. And since the major ice age 11,000 years ago, that's when the glaciers formed in Alaska. So now they put out the major media that's showing you all the glaciers melting here and there. That's not what's actually going on throughout the world. The glaciers are actually increasing throughout the world. There's even glaciers look like they're starting to form in Scotland at the beginning because Scotland is got some snow melt that it just isn't going away in some of the high mountains. Now, I'm saying is this is actually going to lead to problems with food production, but you know what that's going to lead to? Conflict, war. And this was something I was pointing out before. about with the commodities too, not just the agriculture, but also oil, silver, palladium, platinum. You know, the white metals actually, especially even more than gold, because gold is like, I know it's a medium of exchange, but silver is going to be one of these metals. I think and also palladium, because it's a metal that can take detoxify. Well, not just detoxify, but take other things out of water and gases and neutralize them. Where we're running out of resources, some of these metals are going to be very important for actually our survival, because they got all these industrial uses, and a lot of people aren't thinking about that. Now, I just want to point out this map too, because actually this is really, well, this was a prediction that was before the last winter, and it turned out to be correct. You know, the above average snowfall, extremely above average snowfall. You know, Boston got really clobbered. The East Coast, Maine. Actually, Maine just had like freaking records again. They still got snow up there and stuff in a lot of places. In April, you know. California, abnormally freaking warm, right? You know, if you're in California, you believe there's global warming going on, but that's not really what's going on across the most of the world. But this is like just showing you what's going on in the nation. But I want to actually point out something here, because this is one of the things I've been pointing out about your silver. Because, you know, silver, oil, and gold are related. When oil goes in super spikes, when you have major conflicts, and I'm going to tell you, major conflicts usually happen over what? Lack of resources, or when a population gets restless, maybe because of hyperinflation in food prices, not caused by the collapse of the currency, but caused by changes in the weather that are just natural, that have happened for the last millions of years, going all the way back. We get these normal cycles, and we're not going to have enough food production to support like almost 8 billion people. So that'll lead to war, right? Now I'm going to show you this thing, because this is one of the things I was talking about for a long time. There's a lot of different charts on this, but I don't just go by this, but it's like an axiom. It's not even like an argument. It's like when we had major conflicts in the Middle East with oil prices, right, went way the hell up. The 73 Arab embargo, the Iranian Revolution, Shah deposed. You see, that was back in 79 at the height of the Iranian hostage crisis when they held the Marines. Down here, Iraq invades Kuwait, boom, spike, Gulf War ends, crashes again. Asian economy crisis, there was a dip. 911 attack starts going back up. Then also price rises on OPEC cutbacks, increased demand, right? Now we got the deal where I think Saudi's not just going after shale oil, but they're working in cahoots with the West to strangle Russia, So you're seeing the exact opposite. But what I have to say about this chart, how it's all related to everything else I said, is that as we get colder, you know what's going to happen to oil prices? There's going to be a much more demand for energy. Not only energy for home heating, it's going to be energy for crop production, because they're going to have to do a lot more work with, trying to keep the crops alive, or whatever it is, whatever they got to do. Like I know down in Florida, they burn, fires to keep the orange trees from getting frost and stuff like that. And, as this price goes up in oil, you're going to see massive increases in your commodity prices, like with silver and all that type of stuff. Actually, all these earth changes are actually going to be good for the price of the commodities themselves. And I have to state this, like even if you look back during the time of Rome, when Pompeii was buried under Mount Vesuvius, a lot of people, I don't think the elite are ever going to get this crap right. I mean, it's a joke when they call them the elite, because a lot of times They remind me of the know-it-all professors that can't freaking turn a wrench. You know, the cone heads you see in the offices, they can't do a damn thing. It's like the elite think they're the elite, but they think they got everything figured out. But they can wind up just like Pompeii and Rome getting buried under the freaking explosion of Mount Vesuvius. So I'm going to tell you this advice. You know, I think all this stuff is true. With the earth changes, the possibility of an EMP sending an all electronic or most electronic devices to be destroyed, and was going back almost to the dark ages. I think that's a possibility, a strong possibility, because like I said, we're far more exposed to cosmic rays and the effects of cold solar flares during a time when the Earth's magnetosphere is getting weaker and weaker, and it already is record weakness in the last 2,000 years. And they do know this from examining volcanic ash, and there's actually in the volcanoes themselves, and also even in pottery that was made during all the human era, that it absorbs a type of magnetic blueprint. So they know exactly what the magnetic field was even 2,000 or 5,000 years ago. It's been getting a lot weaker. And they know what it was millions of years ago. They know what it was hundreds of thousands of years ago. The last time we had a magnetic reversal was 760 to 780,000 years ago. Before that was 200,000 years. But, you know, during times of magnetic, before that happens, the magnetic mesosphere gets very weak. That makes us far more susceptible to cosmic rays, which also affects our weather. It can also fry our electronics and make us more susceptible to cancer, which I put a lot of stuff out I hope will help prevent cancer. I don't know, but I think it will. So, but it's all working together. And actually, as there's far more demand upon energy and oil, that actually relates to silver prices and also other commodity prices like agriculture, and also I think palladium and platinum, which are newer metals that don't have that big historical record behind it, but palladium and platinum have been known to help render harmful toxic gases and other materials inert. As a matter of fact, palladium is essential for hydrogen storage and actually hydrogen purification. And I think they already know ways to take the hydrogen out of water, but to keep it a freaking secret. I think there is ways to do that. But you would need palladium to actually purify that. If you knew, if they unlocked that secret again, where hydrogen comes out of water, we'd have all the freaking energy in the world we need, clean energy. But we need a lot of palladium for that too. Because guess what? That's how it's going to be stored. That's what goes into storage cells, and that's also what goes in, how it's actually purified. So all this stuff is related. So I mean, there's going to be short-term market things that are going to happen. We're going to see prices spike, super spike, with drama and lies and all this other kind of garbage. Because I know when things go way the hell up, they go too high. When they go down, they go too low. But the thing is that overall, even in the grand scheme of things, how things are working out here on Earth here, it's just how it's been. I mean, it's not doom and gloom, but people, the freaking major media, man. How many times why I'm putting this out? I gotta tell you the truth. I'm putting this out. How many times they freaking see on the major media them pushing a video on what the Earth would look like if the polar ice caps melted. Now this is a picture of the sun here, right? But you know how many times they do that shit? It's ludicrous, man. We're going the other way around. At least for the next 30 to 40 or 50 years, we're getting colder. It ain't gonna get warmer till later. And you know what? It might not even be that way. We might be going into the major ice age, which doesn't mean the whole Earth gets frozen. There's going to be plenty of freaking area for crop production. It's just that might not be in the same areas we're used to. But it's going to put a lot more demand on resources. And electronic gizmos, I'll tell you, man, I don't know, I guess they could be good if they're hardened somehow, but none of them are. So you, as the average Jane and Joe, you got to keep it simple because we're going into a time that I don't know how. I don't know why this is. You know, I know. Well, I do know why it is. I know why people buy the most gimmicky stuff going because it's all marketing and they're sold on it. They get sold on it. But you know, the most gimmicky stuff going is not going to save your ass, man. It's going old school all the way, and silver's old school. But I just also want to point out that we're not going to have like 1 year. Well, you might have a problem where, say, you know, Mount Paktu, whatever his name is, out there in North Korea blows up, or Yellowstone does, or we have extraordinarily cold winters and lousy growing seasons. But there's going to be ebbs and flows in this kind of crap. But I think this is going to be, and it's not a big deal as long as you know what's coming up. But trouble is, we're being lied to, man. We're being lied to. I mean, if I see one more freaking video out by the major media telling me what the Earth's going to look like with the freaking polar caps being melted, I'm like, get the hell out of here. You guys are... You know what? I damn well know they're lying because you know what they're trying to push for? The global carbon tax. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's obvious as all hell. I don't know if people get it or what, but that's all they're trying to do, man. But there's a lot of people that buying into this global warming shit, and it's not. Like I said, it's one volcano, one super volcano. We got more crapping up in our air than all humanity ever did in the last 200 years. You know. So I mean, and that's probably going to happen because as the like I said, repeating it. Sorry. But, I repeat it sometimes for a reason because there's a lot of people just miss it. It's almost like I learned this in school. Why does a teacher freaking teach, say the same shit over again? Because they know, so many percent get it the first time, second time. It just, some people just don't see get the whole picture. But the thing is, the magnetosphere weakening goes along with the solar spot activity decreasing greatly, which also leaves us susceptible to cosmic radiation and solar flares. And that all goes along with increased volcanic activity and a colder planet. And the cosmic rays also leave you more susceptible to cancer. Now, this is not a doom and gloom video because I think I know every way around this shit, okay? But keep it simple, stupid. If you want to survive, keep it simple, stupid, and don't be a worrywart and just do your own thing, And as this happens, we're going to have a lot more demand. There's going to be social upheaval. There's going to be wars due to social upheaval because when there's social upheaval, what do? They go to war to divert the population from the attention of the leaders. And that's going to lead to what? Every time there's a war right now, and at least in the current economic geopolitical whatever, the macroeconomic global situation today, whenever there's a war, a major war, oil prices go up. And when oil prices go up a lot and they go on an extreme bull run, gold, silver, platinum, and palladium all go on a super bull run along with agricultural products. So anyway, I just want to put this out because a lot of this stuff that's on the internet that's maybe a little bit too much doom and gloom is basically indirectly true. And it is also true that the major media is blowing smoke up your kazoo about this global warming crap. Which I think there's going to be global warming in Alaska, just like you see the big red spot on the map, and probably some global warming in localized areas like California, southeast United States, southwest United States, but for the most part of the United States and the most part across the whole world, including Russia, China, and Europe, and North Africa, and Japan, it's going to be a hell of a lot colder, man. So, that's the reality of it. And if you want to survive, keep it simple, stupid. That's all I got to tell you, man.